Hey, we had Clay from New York got together on Zoom with myself, McMurray, and Jeff from Hex to Hex, and he put on a game of tank charts. This is a game from the 80s. Um, so kind of old school, obviously. The tank charts refers to each tank has a chart. It is scale agnostic. It is a miniatures game. It gives everything in meters, like what the tank could really perform, and then it gives you 5 or 6 different conversions. So, and the math is relatively simple. Fortunately, Clay had chosen a fairly simple one. Cool thing is he had these little carpet squares he put out on his floor, and he used 10 millimeter tanks. I had 2 tanks, McMurray had 2, Jeff and Clay had 2 each, and just Russian German T-34s against some Panthers, and we just went at it. And just learning the game. Pretty straightforward game. I mean, it seems complicated. It's got 30 some pages of rules, but they're really not that complicated. Include artillery and planes and infantry, et cetera, et cetera. So, there's some of that involved. But really, it's a good time learning an interesting game I'd heard a lot about. I'd made assumption it was complicated. There's lots of modifiers and things. There's things to keep track of that can be a little cumbersome, perhaps. I mean, it's okay when you played it like we played it, but if you start throwing infantry and stuff, it might become a little bit more cumbersome. You're keeping track of who you're spotting and doing that. It uses mainly D6s. Maybe that's all it uses. It's got penetration numbers. You can hit from 45%, 45 degrees, side, back. It's got all kinds of cool stuff, speed. But good time. Thanks to Clay for putting that on for us. And like he just had like 3 cameras, and he ran it via Zoom and would switch the camera views, and we just all rolled our own dice and had a good time. McMurray and I lost. McMurray was the more aggressive one, of course, but he was doing what you have to do. And I think the Russians probably could use another extra tank because the Germans always get to fire first, pretty much. For the most part, yeah. And so that proved to be a challenge. I'd have to really work through on how to beat that as the Russian. But so anyway, thanks all. Thanks to the guys that played, and good times. Thank you all. See ya.